Hi, this is Emmeline. Welcome to my Facebook Live, and today I'm going to share with you three ways of using our Chinese flashcards. So if you have Chinese flashcards, type yes in the comments so that I know you brought your Chinese flashcards too. I brought mine. I've got quite a few types of flashcards at home, and I use them pretty often with younger children. And while you type your comments, maybe share with me a bit more whether you have children at home. Now, how many of you have children at home? How many children do you have? And whether you use flashcards to teach your child Chinese at home. Maybe I'll share a bit more about myself. I am basically very passionate about Chinese, and I help families with children to make Chinese happen at home. So if you ask me to do talks and workshops, yes, I do that. I go to schools, basically, mostly schools, and sometimes to corporates to do talks to parents, basically on the different aspects of learning Chinese. And personally, I help families with children from 1 to 12 years old. And I have online courses too to help parents to understand a little bit more about learning Chinese, making it easy, making it fun, making it really repeated so that it can be a lifelong learning, not just for the children but also for the parents themselves. So I will begin with a story that I have about flashcards learning with one of my students from many years back. So if you want to hear the story, type yes in the comments so that I know that you want to hear my story. Yes, I see all the comments coming in. Thank you. Yes, if you do want to hear the story, type yes. Yes. Or the hearts button, you can hit the hearts button because I really love those. Those are my favorite buttons. Yes, okay, the story goes this. Used to be very common for us to meet up with the child before they enroll in our school. So this mom brought the 3-year-old, and I would call him Ben. Of course, that is not his name, but Ben. Ben came in the classroom with mom, and mom was just sitting in the background, and I was trying to create a rapport with Ben. I lay out my box of animal figurines that I totally love. There are about like 30 to 40 of them. I laid them out nicely on the carpet. I was seated next to him, and Ben really loved them, I think, because I saw his face light up, and asked him, "Hey Ben, how about playing with these animals? Which is your favorite?" He looked at me, paused for a while, and then he stretched his index finger. And then started pointing at each and every one of the animal figurines and naming them as he pointed at each one of them. Now, he didn't stop halfway. He went through the whole carpet of animals, about 30 over of them. And I was kind of like, wow, that's impressive. But I wanted to really know him better. So I changed my question. I was like, "Hey Ben, my favorite animal is the dolphin. Which is your favorite?" He looked at me again, gave me a smile, and then he started pointing at the animals again, and the response was the same. He started naming each and every one of the animal until he completed all 30 over of them. And by then I was like scratching my head, and I tried different ways of asking him, like, Ben, Mr. Rabbit is really hungry and he's going to have lunch. Who do you think he would choose to have lunch, with today? And he went, again, repeated response. And then when I asked him, like, wow, Tiger is really, really afraid of the lion, he why do you think he's afraid of the lion? And this went on and on. I tried different way of questioning. I tried asking in English and in Chinese, but the response was the same. So other than that, he was really a very nice boy. He didn't create a ruckus. He was quiet though throughout the whole 10 minutes. Then by the end of the session, half an hour session, I was I had this one moment with a mom, alone with her, while the daddy tend to Ben. And I told her about what I observed while we were playing with the animal figurines. So she was like, wow, very happy. And she's like, yes, I'm very impressed because this is what I've been training him for. You see, I've been using flashcards on Ben since he was 6 months old. I'm like, oh, okay. He can name all the animals in his Chinese dictionary. And then she said, she can name all the dinosaurs in his dinosaur dictionary. And she went on to say that he can name all the vehicles in his dictionary of cars. I'm not going to share with you what happened afterward, what recommendation I gave to mom and Ben. But I guess my question to us today is this. Would you like your child to be displaying the same kind of skill as Ben? If your answer is yes, type in the comments and say yes. Now if your answer is no, then type in the comments and say no. Now for those of you who are caught in a dilemma, you really do not know whether to say yes or to say no, then just type in the comments and give me a string of question mark, question mark, question mark, question marks. And yeah, I will continue with what we're going to do today with the flashcards. The truth to the question is this. I don't have an answer to that question, whether it is good to have this kind of skill to be able to name all the animal figurines that was placed on the carpet, and whether I want my child to display that kind of skill. Today's session is actually for us to take a step back and think about why we use flashcards. Particularly for learning Chinese, I know many families have done this. Like there's bound to be this flashcards that we have at home where we use with our children. Some of us do use them. Some of us basically are like, no, I'm not going to do that because I really don't know how to use the flashcards. So I'm going to share with you three ways to use the flashcards, but my emphasis, my objective of using flashcards with my students and my own children is this. I want to have fun with them. Now you hear me mentioning that. If you go to my Cool Chinese YouTube channel, you go to my Facebook page, you notice in my teaching videos, I have lots of emphasis on what? On how teaching Chinese should be fun, should be appropriate, should be simple, and we should be doing it together. So I don't really sit down with my children or my students and flash them the cards repeatedly. Like I know there's a system that some schools do it where you flash very quickly and a child name each and every flashcard, but I don't do that. I love flashcards because I can use them for games, for competitions, for activities that will inspire our children, that will instill the interest in them. So tell me if you want me to share with you the three ways I've been using flashcards with my students or my two children. If your answer is yes, hit the hearts button and I will share with you the three ways. Yes, I hear you. Great. I want to say hello to Louis. Hi, Geraldine. Hi, Faith, Jason, Josephine, Jesslyn too. Hello. Thank you. Okay, for the rest of you here, the first way I use a flashcard is this. I generally use it with the younger ones when I first introduce to them the radicals. Now, Chinese characters are pictorial, and to learn how to recognize them, the easiest way is to group them by their radicals. In Chinese, we call them 部首 or 边旁. Some of you mothers are very familiar with that. If you are familiar with radicals, 部首, just say yes in the comments, and yeah, I will continue. Now, I've used it with the 3-year-olds to even the 6-year-olds, and they like it because it is a very simple game. So I generally use the single words flashcards. I'm going to show you. Single words like this. You can see a single. Now, this particular one at the back has got a picture, you know. This one says how, which is good, and with a thumbs up. There are many different variations of flashcards. Some of them give you like lots of explanation of what it is, how to pronounce it, the Hanyu pinyin, and the different synonyms of the particular word. But then, you know, for this particular one, it's just a single digit one. And I'll share with the 3-year-olds to the 6-year-olds. Now, what do? We place all the single words into a bag. And then every child takes turn to place a hand in the bag. Then as they pull out one particular character, in this case it was a 好字. Good. Now, this one has a radical 女, which is woman. So whenever they see one, they can keep it. And then as they go around, when they have the second turn, they pick it up again and try to pick up maybe another word. And this time round, it could be something else. It could be, in this case, 做, 人字旁. So they can keep it again. And then they start to group, you know, place in groups. Like if they see the same radical, that means 2 or 3 different words with the same radical, they'll place them together. And then start collecting them as they go round. Now the one at the end of the 10 minutes who's collected the most number of words with the same radical, now that person wins. Very simple game, but they love it. And then after every session of this, we start to look at the winner's, the winner's collection of words with the same radical. And that shall be our discussion for the day. And we talk about why they are different and why they are same, and how is the origin of this particular 边旁部首. Really suitable for the younger ones. Now, if you want to try this out, type yes in the comments, and I'll be able to share with you the second one. Okay, this one particularly is suitable for the younger ones, 3 to 6-year-olds. Of course, some of the older ones really, my older students really enjoy doing it just to kill time, chill, but generally good for the preschoolers. Now, for those who joined us today, I'm sharing with you. Those who just joined me now, I can see you, Jera. Yeah. I'm sharing with you the 3 ways to use flashcards, and I've just shared the first way. And now I'm going to share with you the second way of using flashcards. Here you go. Now, how many of you know the game Uno? Do you know Uno? If you know the game Uno, type in the comments Uno, 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 Uno. Yes, U-N-O. Ah, quite a number of you know Uno. Great. Let me see. Yes, the second one that I'm going to share with you is this game that's based on the Uno game rules. Now, my students from 7-year-old to 9-year-olds, they like this game because they already know the game anyway. So I will do the same thing, you know, with a deck of cards. I will shuffle it, all the Chinese words. And after shuffling, each one takes 7 cards. Yes, each one takes 7 cards, and they're not supposed to let their other players see the cards, but they will look at the cards themselves. And then they will try to look for words beginning or words with the same radical or the same 部首. Now, we all know the gameplay of Uno. The winner is the one who gets rid of all the cards. So how do we get rid of all the Chinese cards? Now, so long as they are of the same 部首, you can get rid of them. That means you can put it down on the table and say that and just, you know, get rid of them. But the only trick here is the person who wants to get rid of the cards must name all the characters on the Uno cards. So whatever you're trying to get rid of, you have to name them. And the more you get rid of, the more you name the cards, and the more the child retain the name of the characters, and they'll be able to pronounce it. Now, of course, at the end of the day, if you have 1 card left, then you say Uno. And you don't have to wait for another card to pair it so that you can get rid of it. Just say Uno and you can get rid of that card. So the older ones, the 7 to the 9-year-olds, they really like this, and I would strongly encourage you to do that. So there you are, the second way of using the Chinese flashcards. Now you notice that is basically very good for what? For character recognition. That means you try, character recognition. You try to play this game if you want children to retain the memory of the Chinese words, how to recognize them, how to group them by the different radical, how to pronounce them. Now the third game I'm going to share with you will encourage our children to speak a little bit more Chinese. Now, if you want to know what's the third way of using flashcards, you can type hearts in the comments. Hearts. Hit the hearts button, and I will share with you the third way. Now, with the third way, you don't have to stick with single. Let me see. You don't have to stick with like single cards. You can actually go for like words with flashcards with double cards, double names, or flashcards with 4 words. In this case, this is the idioms. So what do? Again, we put the cards. We can put the cards in the bag, or we can just shuffle them and put them on the table. Put the deck on the table. And then the child is supposed to pick, 7 cards again. So each child picks 7 cards on their hand, and they are supposed to form a story with every Chinese character on the flashcard. Story cube. I think you heard of story cube, where we wrote a cube and then we tried to tell a story based on the picture on the cube. And in this case, we try to tell a story based on the Chinese word on the card. So in this case, if I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. 7 cards I have, and all the rest of the players have 7 cards too. And of course, we take turns to form a story. So what do I have here? Let me show you. I've got 女生, I've got 乱画, I've got 白板, 工作, 好, 分工合作，全班同学。So I have to make a story out of these 7 cards. How do I do that? You want to test me? You want to hear how I actually form a story with these 7 cards? If you want to, show me the hearts again. Yes. Type hearts, hearts, hearts. Okay, maybe what I'll do is this. I'm going to show you all the cards here. Let me see here. Ha! Okay, here you go. I'm gonna say, 今天早上 that means this morning, 我上学去 I went to school. 一进课室 the moment I enter into a classroom, 我就看到2个女生 two girls 在黑板上乱画 doodling on the blackboards. Sorry, 在白板上乱画 writing on the whiteboard, doodling. 我上前跟他们说这是不对的，因为我们在白板上乱画 if I draw and we draw and doodle on the whiteboard, 清洁工人就要做更多的工作 they had to do more work. So I will say, I'm left with 3 cards. I'm left with 3 cards. So how to get rid of them? I will just say, 我们都是好学生 We are all good students. 我鼓励全班同学 the whole class of classmates to 分工合作 to divide the work to clean up the whiteboard. So, there you go. 7 cards, and I managed to finish the story. Of course, some of these stories can be ridiculous. Some of these stories can be like laughable. But it does not matter because it encourages the children to actually think out of the box and form stories with the flashcards. So if you like this game, say yes in the comments, and I will send you the link later. Yes, some of you say, okay, yes, I can send the link to you, the rules to all the 3 ways I mentioned just now, about how to use the flashcard. Now, first one is basically to sort the characters by the radical, and it's suitable for the 3 to 5, 6-year-old. The second one, where you play Uno with the Chinese words, is suitable for the 7 to 9-year-olds. Now, third one that I shared is like telling stories or completing the sentence with Chinese cards. That one is suitable for the 10 to the 12-year-olds. So if you type I want in the comments, I will send you the link to how to further use this flashcards and to the exact instructions as to how to use the flashcards in the 3 ways I mentioned just now. Let me see your I ones. Great. Okay, if you want to see me talk more about how to use games, how to use activities to learn Chinese at home or in the classroom, go check out my YouTube channel, Cool Chinese, or like my Cool Chinese page on Facebook. You will get notified whenever I have new teaching videos. And I'll be launching a new set of online video for my special group, free course, where parents can use Chinese. I'm talking about families who have no idea how to speak Chinese at home. Now, you can use Chinese to communicate with your children in 8 days. Yeah, no joke, 8 days. Okay, if you follow that course, you will be able to do that. And of course, I I am, with that, I'm going to give you links on other activities where you can make Chinese more fun at home. But first, I want to encourage you to come back to my Facebook Live next week. Now, every week, Sunday, 3 p.m., I will be here on Facebook Live and answer questions that my parents have on learning Chinese. So last week, we touched on the 3 ways of using a Chinese learning toy. This week, we'll talk about flashcards. And next week, I intend to do introduction to Chinese writing. Or maybe I can do Hanyu pinyin, how do you remember the 4 tones? So send me a message, tell me which topic you want, and I will answer you next week, Sunday, 3 p.m. So thanks for listening to me. Well, I will see you again next week, 3 p.m. And if you want to hear a particular topic that I did not mention, just type it in the comments and I will come back to you. So until then, see you.